Happy Monday, everybody, and good evening, and welcome to the Sports Arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson, and I am in a fantastic mood, as I'm sure as many of you know why, because we actually did something that I was not expecting. We actually beat the New Orleans Saints, referring to my Philadelphia Eagles, of course, but I mean, listen, we've got all night to talk about Jalen Hurts. Let me go ahead and bring my fellas in here tonight and hopefully Miss Ruth the Truth, even though I think she's still up in Cincinnati, still celebrating her victory. I guess I'll have to let Mike talk about his victory as well. But let me get my brother Alex Fleming in here this evening. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. Not as good as you, obviously. Love the commercial. No one likes us, man.
Oh,
Bring
yeah.
bring the rest of the crew in. I'm good.
Shout out to the Go Go Gadget Band, man. Great band up there in the Philadelphia, Maryland, Delaware area. I love them. Let me go ahead and get Mike. What's up, Mike? Can't even hear you, brother. It's okay. It's all right. Look, where you at, Mike? Turn the AirPods on, brother. Come on, come on. Come with it, Mike. I'm waiting on him.
If they wanted to make a song that was funny, they should sing "People Like Us." Because just saying nobody likes us, like everybody knows nobody likes Philly. Good for you. You want? I mean, I almost threw up my dinner, and I was happy with my dinner. And Alex was all happy from that song, which confuses me. I don't know why. I'm confused. That's a terrible song. It's a disgusting song. And
Move on. Move on. Move on.
yeah, let's move on. I shouldn't even have to give words to that song. Alex, thank you.
As I've said to him earlier today, Michael is my favorite hater when it comes to my Philadelphia Eagles. But you know what, Mike? I'm in such a good mood.
I
Congratulations.
still compliment them when they do well.
Congratulations to your Cincinnati Bengals. Congratulations. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, not to the Dallas Cowboys. You beat Cincinnati. That's what happened.
Right.
See, I'm so excited. I don't even know whether I'm coming or going. But yeah, it's the three of us for right now. I'm sure Jake will be joining us momentarily. Like I said, our girl Ruth the Truth is up in Cincinnati. She's still celebrating y'all's victory. But fellas, I mean, come on. Listen, for all the smack that I've had to endure since week 4, except for the game against Dallas, I have had to endure a lot. Just give me tonight. That's all I ask. I'm sure by tomorrow I'll go back.
Well, Eric, I'll even one up you. I'll even one up you guys because during the Cardinals Giants game yesterday, as I was obviously watching that, and the Cardinals, I think they just got another sack. But they were saying since week 11, the winningest division in football is the NFC East. And after yesterday's 3 teams that won,
Cheers to
the
that.
NFC East has the most, from weeks 11 to 13 is the winningest division.
Y'all are proud of that? I mean,
exactly.
Really?
Yes. This
Really?
time of year, absolutely.
I'll take it whenever I can take it. And it is December football. If there's ever a time to actually start winning, it would be now. So let me just say that. That being said, gentlemen, let me go ahead and seriously be real with me. And I know, Alex, you will be, and Mike, you as well. Just give me your thoughts on Jalen Hurts. Alex, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on what you saw yesterday from Jalen Hurts?
For a guy that didn't get a lot of first-team reps, I thought he looked great. 167 yards passing, command of the offense, and he also broke another record. He was one of only 2 quarterbacks that have 100 yards rushing on his rookie debut. Now, Nate, back in the day, had 90, and I believe Lamar Jackson had quite a bit as well. People don't like Jalen Hurts because he doesn't look like your prototypical Philadelphia quarterback. In NFL talk, NFL Talk All 32, they were like, oh, this guy dated my daughter's roommate, trying to find any and everything to try to say bad about this guy.
No, you're not going to sit here and rain on my parade right now down Broad Street.
I'm trying to be honest with you. You gave me my time. Give me my time.
But
with that
really
being said, what I saw from him in the combine, he was the best thrower at the combine. He had the best intangibles at the combine. He's been running a pro-style offense between Nick Saban and Lincoln Riley. All he did was win in college. It's almost like I wrote an article about this guy or something. You have a light at the end of the tunnel. And after what Miles Sanders said after the game, where we actually have a natural leader, that's an indictment on Carson Wentz. You and I had this conversation back in April, May. It wasn't a question of if, it was a question of when. Sooner or later, sir, I hope you start listening to Jalen Hurts is your brand new starter for the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz, after you get rid of some of that money off the contract, He can go to Alaska or back to North Dakota, or he can play for AAA, or he can make North Dakota great again. I don't care.
Let me just say this. First off, you ain't going to rain on my parade down Independence Boulevard here. The fact that people are saying that Jalen Hurts is not the prototypical Philadelphia quarterback, I'm sorry. I'll name 3 off top of the dome. Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, and Michael Vick. Do not tell me that Jalen Hurts does not fit that mold of what a prototypical Philadelphia quarterback looks like. So for all them people out there who want to talk all that noise, hey, jump on this show and see what you get coming to you. Let me just say that. Now, along those lines, Alex, you and I talked yesterday because you called me after the game, and I'm going to spit a little backstage knowledge here. You called me and you were like, how you feeling? And I said to you, it's one game. It's one game. And you were like, really? You of all people, really? And I said, you know what? Here's the thing. And I know Mike will agree to this when I say this. It's the fact that I told y'all this last week. Desperation time calls for desperate measures. So we threw a guy in there not knowing what to expect, but we had to see what he was capable of doing. Miles Sanders called him a leader. The rest of the team said, whoever our quarterback is, we are about winning. What did that tell me yesterday? That told me that with the right scheme, with the right plan, and yesterday with the right quarterback, we can win. Even though we lost Rodney McLeod, even though we had guys going down left and right. That is what I try to explain to people when it comes to Philadelphia. Okay? We don't care where you come from. We don't care what you about, as long as you give us everything you have on Lincoln Financial Field. Is Carson doing that this year? Clearly he's not, or else he would not have got benched. Now, I want to see what he does, because he has officially, referring to Jalen Hurts, been named as the starter against Arizona.
How is that even a shocker? I mean,
listen, I'm not okay, but we've seen coaches do this. We've seen coaches play a guy for 1 week. That guy is successful, but they have the same mindset as I do. You got all this money sitting on the bench, but now this guy is actually showing up. And as we're talking here on the Sports Arena, the Ravens just scored
Edwards touchdown after a 38-yard run from El Freaky. But back to Jalen Hurts.
What I want to see him do in Arizona is going to be very truth-telling for me about this young man and his future. Mike, I'm going to let you get your word in, because then I do want to keep it moving. Give me your thoughts on Hurts yesterday.
I mean, like when we were texting, I like some of what I saw, but it's one game. It is, like you said, it is one game. Now, there are things there. The offensive line played a little bit better. For some reason, the Saints, when he started running, did not contain the edge like they have all season. But the offensive line did play better. They held blocks longer. His mobility helped that. He looked like he had more confidence in Carson Wentz. I like what I saw there. But I stand by the side of it's one game. People were saying this. I mean, just go to Philadelphia as an example. After 5, 6, 7 games of Carson Wentz, everybody's like, oh my God, this guy's, again, I'm not saying Jalen Hurts can't do it. I'm not saying he won't do it. I'm not going to anoint anybody after one game. I didn't even anoint Patrick Mahomes after one game, which I think he had 5 touchdown passes his first start. So yeah, you probably could have. That being said, he looked good. It could work. They're not going to go anywhere in the playoffs if they do get there. But
stop the playoff talk.
I like what I saw.
First and foremost, it's the NFC East.
It doesn't matter.
It's the rest of your opponents. They got one more game against Dallas. They have to face Washington that beat them down and put the other quarterback in a body bag. All right? Now, let's just get that thought out of your head. Number 2, did you see how his teammates and his offensive line reacted to Jalen Hurts
line played better.
versus
they did play
Carson
better.
Wentz?
But
yes,
they played better.
Absolutely, they played better. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Well,
they have synergy,
and they should have synergy, but they should have been playing like that the whole time.
They have camaraderie, Michael. They like who they're playing for.
Okay, but here's the thing. Like you now possibly have thrown away a season. So if you're saying playoffs, you now possibly have thrown away a season because you didn't like Carson Wentz. And we said it here last week. I've seen it a million times. And Eric's talked about it, the amount of plays that he's audibled from or changed that Doug Peterson has called. Nick Foles didn't do it. And yes, we saw what happened in the playoffs. That being said, the offensive line, banged up as it is, they are still pros, should be playing like that the whole time. Yes, it takes a few weeks. Yes, injuries decimate teams. You're still in the NFL. But again, they rallied around Jalen Hurts. And like you said to the statement, they felt he was a leader. And why would Doug Peterson even have to say to start next week? Like,
listen,
that was ridiculous.
This is what I'm telling you. When I was listening to the radio this morning on my way into work, and then Mike Greenberg confirmed it on Get Up, it was that Doug Peterson had gone on Philadelphia radio and had not confirmed who the starter was going to be. So sometime between 8:30 this morning and 5 p.m. when I talked to my mom was like, "Oh, you see, he's starting on Sunday." I'm like, "Mom, I haven't heard that." She's like, "Oh no, he's starting." I'm like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Where am I?" I'm like, "Okay, never mind. I'll shut up. Sorry, Mom." Yeah, okay, But you're right. There should have been no question. But the fact that something in the back of Doug Peterson's mind, which the commentators yesterday even said, the hardest thing right now in Philadelphia is keeping Carson from being a distraction and keeping him engaged with this team because he's been benched. All right. We're going to move on from this. This is a conversation that I could talk all night about, but we've got so much to get to here on the Sports Arena. I just had to get your guys' thoughts on that. And again, as always, shout out to my man, John Mizak, for chiming in. Oh, Mr. Avery wants to chime in. Okay, Avery, I'm going to call you right now and say, if you want to jump on the show, let me know. I'll send you the link.
Do me a favor. Ask Avery how Nick Foles' ring tastes for Carson Wentz.
Anyhow, we're going to keep it going. So, gentlemen, based on what we saw last night in the Sunday Night Football game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills, serious question. Who is the number 2 team in the AFC behind Kansas City? You guys have got to give me a straight answer on this one. Is it, in fact, Buffalo? Or is this minor hiccup that we've seen the last 2 weeks with Pittsburgh a sign of them potentially maybe even losing this division? Mike, I'm going to go to you.
I don't know about losing the division. Look, Pittsburgh shows up when they have to. Yes, the offense isn't the same, but that first half of football, as you know, I love defense. Defense is the best part of football when there's not a million penalties, soft penalties thrown, and they can actually play. The pick six at the end of the half was the downfall. But I've loved Buffalo from the beginning of the season, and even after they got out to that big lead against the Rams at home, the Rams came back, but Josh Allen still drove them down. I love what their defense is doing. I love what Sean McDermott is doing, and it's not just knee-jerk from yesterday. Look, Kansas City didn't pass a lot on them because, yes, they ran all over them. I understand that. But I don't think they would fear Kansas City, a rematch in that. So I'm definitely taking Buffalo. I love how the defense played. The last 2 weeks they've had primetime games and they delivered. So the only thing that sucks about this is that Bills Mafia cannot be in that stadium because it would be rocking. But they are the second best team in the AFC to me. Josh Allen's proved it. They can run the ball. The defense, again, Rex Ryan didn't leave the cabinets bare. Yes, some new guys have come in, but there's a lot of guys from his regime there, and Sean McDermott took it and coached him better. So I'm not taking anything away from Sean McDermott because he didn't have, obviously, the ego that Rex Ryan has. But they are the second best team in the AFC.
Alex?
You remember when they lost back-to-back games because they had to play Kansas City and then the Tennessee Titans? I'm not counting Arizona because Nuck was Nuck, and that was a Hail Mary play. You take away that loss, the Buffalo Bills have won 7 straight. Get this straight and listen up. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. They got an offensive line that's not going to allow pressure. They have a good enough running game between Motor Singletary and Zach Moss. 0. Hear me. 0. I'm going to say it the third time so you get it through. 0 interceptions or fumbles in the red zone. When they make it down there, it's money. Better than Travis Kelce. The defense is solid. They have enough corners for all that smoke for the Kansas City Chiefs. You didn't see them scoring all them damn points against Buffalo. Now, did you? Oh, and by the way, did you know that Josh Allen has scored more touchdowns than Jim Kelly? Franchise record. Do you know he's second behind Cam Newton when it comes to rushing touchdowns? Did you know that when Tom Brady and Giselle slept with each other last night, Giselle said Josh Allen's name and not Tom Brady's? That's how good Josh Allen is. The second best team in the AFC is the Buffalo Bills. You better circle those wagons.
You had to go there. They won against Minnesota. Why are you still hating on Tampa like this, man?
I'm not hating on Tampa.
I can't believe you went there with that.
I'm not hating on Tampa.
Wow.
Josh Allen is the prototypical quarterback of the future. He's the young Ben Roethlisberger, and he exposed how you can beat up on a Pittsburgh defense that was supposed to be so good. Pittsburgh has their own issues. We're talking about the second best team in the AFC. You asked the question, I answered it. It's the Buffalo Bills.
Jake, thank you for joining us here. I need some serious talk right now because apparently these two clowns over here just want to keep going back and forth. See, Jake don't even want to listen to y'all. He's like, I'm out. I can't even listen to this tonight. I don't know what's going on.
People listen to Alex and I spit the truth. That's their thing. I will say they're the second best team, but I will tell you right now, and not just because of yesterday, the whole season, Derrick Henry is the MVP. Hands down. Derrick Henry is the MVP. He won't get it, but he's the MVP. I'm sorry.
I agree with Michael. He won't get it. I love me some Derrick Henry. Scooby-Doo has showed up to play, but the MVP this year is Aaron Rodgers. But that's a conversation for a different time.
I know.
We're talking about the second best team in the AFC, Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I got to show love to the reigning defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs because as we get towards the end of the season, right now, it's a race to see between Pittsburgh and Kansas City who is going to falter to determine basically that number one seed. The number one seed right now is held by Kansas City. And if you ask me right now, I think it's going to stay Kansas City. But that being said, gentlemen, let's get real for a minute, okay? This time of year, we begin to see offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, coaches start to find where their next home is going to be. Jake, you in there with us, brother?
Yes, I finally am. I'm so sorry.
I
think I got hijacked by Russia, but I'm back now.
No apologies. So, Jake, I'm going to take a slight detour here. I'm going to come back to you on this one. I want to ask you this question before I go to my next topic.
Okay.
Who do you think is the number 2 team in the AFC right now?
Oh, I have to go with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they had a great game yesterday, 26-15 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And even though they're not a sexy team, that's the thing. I mean, you look at their stats, they're 20th in defense. They've given up 21 touchdowns on the year, but you look at their offense and it just continues to get better and better around Josh Allen, who has a great chemistry with the likes of Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs. Look at these stats, 2,005 yards and 9 touchdowns between Beasley and Diggs. And that's something that you want to see. And this is something that Buffalo fans have not seen in decades. 30 touchdowns, 9 interceptions for Josh Allen. So the Buffalo Bills have shown that they can beat teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers. They definitely want to crack at the Kansas City Chiefs if they get that chance.
All right. Thank you. So what I was saying before, my man Jake Rongo from Turning Point Podcast joined us, also joined by Alex Fleming, Florida Sun Review, NFL Carousel host, and of course, Jacksonville Jaguars contributor. And I am the co-host of the Magic Perspective with Alex and Eric Basketball, which we are going to be getting into very shortly, so stay tuned for that. And Michael Caratanudo, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. So my question was, gentlemen, this time of year, coaches begin the interview process, or teams, shall I say, begin the interview process of scouting and looking for their next potential GM, their potential next offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, whatever the case may be. So I want to talk about a guy whose name is constantly being mentioned this season, as it was last season, and well, it should. And that's one Mr. Eric Bieniemy. So, in your opinion, who do you think is the best team that would fit Eric Bieniemy as a head coach? Mike, which team do you think? If the money's right, okay, and everybody comes to him and he's got several offers, which team right now do you think would best fit Eric Bieniemy?
I mean, I would go with when you sent this today, I was thinking, but if you're going to get to coach another quarterback and a high level one, the Texans would be the job. Now the Texans are a dumpster fire. Now, so I'm just going off of coaches that have lost their jobs, not that are speculated to. I don't think he'd end up down in Atlanta. I really don't think Detroit, he would go to Detroit. I just think that the Texans are the place, although San Diego could be. I mean, you got a young quarterback too, like Justin Herbert. He saw him in his first start, finding out 15 minutes before the game that he was starting because Tyrod couldn't. And yeah, they didn't have any real film on him. They didn't study Justin Herbert, but still went toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes. You got some picks there, but I don't think San Diego will be open, nor do I think it should be. So I would have to go with the Texans because you get to coach Deshaun Watson and to see if he can rebuild that dumpster fire. But that being said, the perfect job for me, man, if they win it again, just stay in Kansas City. Be a dominant offensive coordinator. He'll probably even get a raise. Like, you have the perfect thing going. I could live with being a career offensive coordinator. I'm telling you, I know people want to aspire to be a coach, but I'm just saying it's a phenomenal spot to be.
All right, Jake, same question to you.
This is the same guy that actually made Adrian Peterson into what he was when he was the running backs coach for the Minnesota Vikings, and now he's the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Eric Bieniemy wants to be a head coach. It's written on his face, for crying out loud. We could see it. And, I mean, he has the best offense in the NFL. He's brought Tyreek Hill to life. He has been able to bring in McCole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson, and be able to turn this track and field team into one of the best offenses in the NFL. I got a team for you, something that nobody's going to talk about, but they got a lot of speed because KJ Hamler has finally made his debut in the last 2 games. The Denver Broncos might be looking at Eric Bieniemy, especially when Drew Lock is there. But you got Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler, 2 speed demons, faster than a speeding bullet. They're great with the deep ball passes, and that's one thing that Kansas City needs. If he can be able to revitalize Drew Lock into that deep ball thrower that he was at the University of Missouri, don't fall asleep on the Denver Broncos, especially with the way you see that Tim Patrick is playing as well. So that's a team on the rise, and they're going to be looking for a coach next year. Why not take a chance? Go to the enemy, Denver.
That's a very, very interesting.
It is, but I don't think Vic Fangio gets fired.
Process. You don't think Vic Fangio gets fired? The fact that they played with no quarterback against the best defense in the league, Vic Fangio's not going to get let go. This man has been tossed around the NFL worse than a football. And I know you're shaking your head no, Alex, and I'll get to you in a minute, but I am just of the mindset that when you allow what transpired this season to happen, given COVID, with a team that did not have a legitimate quarterback, if he keeps his job, it just further lets me know that the NFL is still stuck in their old ways, number one. Number two, and more importantly, that they're not open to giving a man like a Eric Bieniemy a chance. I completely like where Jake's coming from. And Alex, what do you always tell me, and I tell you a lot of times? Know your audience and know your enemy. I mean, hell, this actually works. It makes sense. Now, I know a lot of people are talking about him possibly going to the Jets. I'm going to tag you in a minute.
I'm going to go.
Okay, hold on. But the name Bill Cowher still comes up with the possibility of him coming out of retirement to coach a team like the Jets. But I'm just saying, we have to take into account teams that are in need of a head coach, a good, a decent, a quality head coach.
That's why the Texans make the most sense.
But
you got Deshaun Watson.
Okay, but here's my thing. I like what Romeo Crennel is doing. He has the head coaching experience, and he has that team winning. That's why I say he doesn't lose his job. I'm glad you brought up Atlanta. I think Raheem Morris needs to keep his job. But Alex, go ahead, brother. Hey, you know what? Wait. Wrong side, bruh. Tag, you're in. Go.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Guys, get ready for this one. I'm going to talk about a team that none of y'all talked about. Houston's the obvious one, but you shouldn't get what you want. And McNair had plenty of chances to fire Bob, keep DeAndre Hopkins. They don't deserve Bieniemy. Denver, Fangio keeps his job. That's why I think it's not going to happen.
Fair.
The team that truly needs Eric Bieniemy, the Chicago Bears.
Oh, that's a homer pick.
They already have the defense. Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. When Tariq Cohen comes back with Monty, David Montgomery, they still got Lamar Miller. You got Cole Kmet. who's a sole number one tight end. You still got old man Jimmy Graham. You have the weapons. You don't have the quarterback. You're coming off of that bad trade with the Raiders where you gave up your first-round picks. You're finally going to get one. And guess what? You're going to be able to shop for a quarterback. Get your damn quarterback. Get rid of Trash Bisky. Do whatever the hell you want with Foles, but he's not the answer. Allen Robinson is a stud. He needs to be treated as such. Spread out the offense to go with the monsters of the Midway and claim back the NFC North.
Well, they did beat the Texans 36-7, so I'm with you.
Okay. All right.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with that.
We're going to take a 30-second break. More on the Sports Arena in 30 seconds. Welcome back to the Sports Arena. Your man, Eric Wilson, alongside Alex Fleming, Jake Rongholt, and Michael Carrotino. Gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for joining me here tonight. So let me ask you guys a question. I want to move back to the team that has the most wins over the last couple of weeks, the NFC East. Yeah. Anyhow, gentlemen, is the Washington football team a lock to win the NFC East and get a home playoff game? Michael, yes or no?
Their offense is trash, but with their defense, I'll go with yet to be determined after next week. Their offense is trash. They got 2 defensive touchdowns against a banged up Niners team. I love what their defense is doing. I agree with you on that last week, Alex, as much as I cannot stand and want to vomit complimenting that team at any time in my life. That being said, like, I love the defense, but you're not going to get a pick six against. I doubt you'll get a pick six against the Packers or the Saints if you see them. Whoever you see in the first round, Tampa, again, well, if you see Tampa, you might. But I'm just saying, like, their offense is trash. It's going to have to do something. To win the division, I'll let you know next week. I said too many nice things about them, so I'm
all right. Fine. To be determined. Alex, are the Washington football team a lock to win the NFC East?
You got to check out the W. That's that old school Wu-Tang. Let me fill y'all in. Didn't we say a long time ago that Chase Young was the predator and a stud? Montez Sweat's picked off the ball quite a few times. Till Settle, Choice Holcomb, Ryan Kerrigan, Mike Davis, they have veterans, they have young cats. They can stop the run. They have good corners. They can run the ball back. They can hurt you. They can have penetration. They have a good, solid defense. Offense-wise, they need Antonio Gibson back. Terry McLaurin's being doubled by a corner and a safety. That should tell you everything that you need to know. They have weapons. Alex Smith is going to be out. Dwayne Haskins should start. Simba was chosen by Snyder. For all of you hateful and bigoted people in the Washington fan base, you're on the same team. You guys hate this man for all the reasons that's outside of his control. Is he a knucklehead? Yes. Is he young? Yes. Is he more worried about stats than wins? Yes. Alex Smith has been tutoring him. And since Kyle Allen is gone and you can't run to him, you're going to have to rely on Dwayne Haskins. No one expects the Washington football team to beat Seattle, but then again, no one expected Seattle to lose to the New York Giants. Wake up. The Giants are a joke. Danny Dimes is a shell of himself. We don't even need to talk about Dallas, and it's too late for Philadelphia. Get on the bandwagon. The Washington football team is the team to beat and will win this division.
Jake?
I'm with Alex on this. I think the Washington football team is going to be the team because, I mean, you look at this, they're 4th in sacks with 40 sacks. They're going to have the defensive rookie of the year in Chase Young, who has 5.5. and 26 solo tackles. That's unbelievable. And every time you watch, I mean, you saw that hit on Nick Mullins yesterday. I couldn't believe it. I thought Nick Mullins was dead there for a minute because I couldn't believe how hard Chase Young hit that guy. It was unbelievable. But listen, I love the way that Ron Rivera is running this team. Yes, I know Alex Smith is out, calf tightness. He's going to be out for a while. But if this is the Alex Smith that we know and love, then he is going to be tutoring Dwayne Haskins throughout that game against Seattle. This is the game. This is where they can be able to reach 500, or they're going to be stuck in a fight in the NFC least with the New York Giants, who, by the way, have the 31st best offense. Thank you, Jason Garrett, for proving that Danny Dimes is not Danny Dimes. Might be worth a couple of pennies. Might be on that. But I think that the Washington football team has a lot more talent than you think. They get back Antonio Gibson. Cam Sims had a great game against Pittsburgh. And then Logan Thomas. Don't fall asleep on this tight end he's going to be a star in this league the way he has been playing and working well with Scott Turner in this offense. So don't fall asleep on Washington if they beat Seattle this weekend.
Not beating them.
Mike, we thought the same thing about the Giants, and look what happened. So I cannot sit here in good conscience and say to you that the Washington football team will not stop. Seattle. Listen, hold on. I'll give you your time. What I'm saying to you is simply this. If the Giants defense could only hold Russell Wilson to 12 points.
Thank you.
Can you imagine with Chase Young coming after Russell Wilson? He might not have an ability to find DK or Tyler Lockett. He better hope that Chris Carson can get out. The offensive line can help separate so Chris Carson can find a hole.
You would think after the Philadelphia Eagles beat the New Orleans Saints that anything is possible.
Oh, yeah. Anything is possible.
Hold on.
Anything's possible in the NFC.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, the Giants somehow managed to hold them defensively. Did you see who blew up the Giants' offensive line, Mr. Number One pick that should be a Jet, Leonard Williams? So, yeah, Seattle has seen somebody that can do that. I agree. No, yes, I don't take credit.
Hassan Riddick sacked Danny Dimes 5 times yesterday.
Yeah, and Danny Dimes couldn't even move. Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4.
It was a Cardinals record. But yes, and I know that. And he also and he probably shouldn't have been playing, but he tried to tough it out. He couldn't move. It's not an excuse. The Cardinals were going to beat him anyway. I got that right. My point being is, if Seattle does drop this game to him, fine. Yes, it could happen. I'm not saying fine. It could happen. My point is, though, is their offense. Yeah, you say they have this, they have that weapon-wise. Their offense is still junk. And I'm sorry, if they face the Rams, really, whoever's playing quarterback from Washington's going to get killed. Like, I'm just saying right now, defensively, I'll take the Rams' defensive line to kill whoever Washington has. So, again, yes. They're in the lead. They're at the top of the division. They have a shot, but
okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
Fair enough, Mike. I mean, hey,
I listen. I'm just saying exactly what Alex said. The fact that we beat New Orleans yesterday, I'm just saying there's a chance. That's all I'm doing.
I know.
So, gentlemen, let me ask you a question, because this team started the season 11-0, and their last 2 games, they have not really showed up. They lost to the team with no name, who we just talked about, in the Washington football team. And then they lost last night against Bills Mafia, with no Bills Mafia in the stands. Jake, how do you fix Pittsburgh?
That's tough. You're not going to fix that running game. You had 13 weeks to fix this running game, and you never did it. I mean, you're looking at this team. I mean, 31st in rush. They're nearly 89 yards per game, 3.6 yards per game. This is a problem right now. And now the biggest problem that with the Pittsburgh Steelers is the loss of their 2 biggest pass rushers, Bud Dupree and Devin Bush. TJ Watt can't do it all by himself, and they're not being able to stay healthy. Also, that pass defense is starting to look a little sluggish as well. You saw Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis. They were all over the field yesterday in the second half, and they were not able to stop this Buffalo offense that Josh Allen was in complete control of. There is a really big problem with Pittsburgh, and I know I've said problem a few times, but they're a big problem, because Ben Roethlisberger throws 2 picks yesterday, including a pick 6. He looks like he's a little off on his arm. Deontay Johnson can't catch a football. No one could catch a football yesterday at Buffalo. I couldn't believe it with Pittsburgh. And it also comes down to this. This is a college football offense with Randy Fichtner, and that is not going to help you for the playoffs. The Pittsburgh Steelers are, unfortunately, they're fraudulent. And until they are able to find a legit offensive coordinator that can be able to make this team from one-dimensional into a complete offense, let me know. But the injuries are too much, and the lack of offensive play calling is a mess right now. So it's going to be tough. They might finish the season 12-4.
Okay, but 4 games in 19 days, I mean, we have to at least throw that into factor.
I agree.
So, I mean, Alex, honestly, take aside the fact that, they just got shown up and shown out by Buffalo yesterday. Honest talk, though. Can you fix this team? Because here's the thing. Granted, right now, Baltimore is beating Cleveland 34-20. Should Cleveland find a way to make this a game and come back? You do realize that Cleveland only has 3 losses, which means they would be – no, you can shake your head and try to brush me off all you want.
This game's over.
Talk facts. Okay? There's still time. There's still time. You cannot say that. Is the clock at 0-0 in the fourth quarter? No. Then there's still time. All right? What I'm saying to you is if Cleveland pulls this one out, Cleveland can vie for that AFC North crown. So again, how do you fix Pittsburgh so that this doesn't happen?
Number 1, this game's over. Cleveland can't stop the run. Number 2, Cleveland can't stand up the pit because they don't have enough corners. This game's over. Let's not talk about Cleveland. Let's talk about relevant teams. Pittsburgh.
How is Cleveland not a relevant team?
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
They're 9-3. How are they not relevant?
How you fix the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Not relevant? How are they
They're not relevant because you can't stop the pass, and against Baltimore, you can't stop the run.
Jake,
Baltimore can make the playoffs, and they can beat you twice. Pittsburgh can already beat you twice. Cleveland is not a viable team for the Super Bowl.
They won't be able to stop Kansas City.
They can't beat Pittsburgh, and they're losing to Baltimore.
I didn't say that.
All right.
I didn't say Super Bowl.
I'm giving you reasons. Whether you choose to listen or not, that's up to you. I gave you reasons.
I'm talking about
they can't stop the run. They don't have enough corners. Let's talk about real teams. Back to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They are 9-3. How are they not a real team?
If record doesn't mean a damn thing.
Okay. All right.
Record doesn't mean a thing.
Record doesn't mean anything. They're just 9-3 right now. Record
doesn't mean one thing.
Okay.
Back to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Fine. Go ahead.
This is how you this is how you fix the Pittsburgh Steelers. You need to fix that running game. James Conner is not himself, and he hasn't been himself since he contracted COVID. You might want to switch starters. Give Anthony McFarland a start. The guy out of Maryland needs to be fed. Benny Snell can be the power back. You could do like you have with Kareem Hunt and Chubb, but you need to get that running game going. You need to rotate offensive linemen because if you can't run the football, teams are going to drop back coverage and play dime coverage because they know all you can do is pass. Claypool started off hot. He's been drawing attention to the number 1 corners now. You see that Claypool's cooled off a little bit. Juju's 50-50. He needs to get more touches. Deontay Johnson needs to be moved to the slot. He should never be out in the Y because, like Jake said earlier, he's been dropping a lot of passes. Where's Vance McFarland? Where's Vance McDonald? Why do you have Ebron and Vance McDonald, who are bigger than all of your linebackers, if you're not going to play a double tight end set? If you played a double tight end set, that would help with the running game. If you have a running game, you can control the line of scrimmage and the time of possession. If you move from 31st to maybe even 20th, you can give teams fits because they don't have enough corners to stop Juju, Chase, and Deontay, and James Washington when you go with that empty set, which you've been scoring most of your touchdowns on. Reestablish the running game, rotate offensive linemen, shove it down people's throats. Make them play honest. So when they have 7 and 8 in the box, you leave them one-on-one with all your wide receivers. That's how you fix Pittsburgh.
If I may also, 2 offensive linemen got injured yesterday against Buffalo, so that's a big problem. That's also an issue for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But you're right, Alex. They need to go back to smash mouth football, run the rock, play great defense. But they need to actually learn how to run the football. And like you said, I'm really glad you brought up Anthony McFarland Jr., one of the top running backs in Maryland history. I mean, we remember that game against Ohio State 2 years ago. That was his breakout game. Where is that Anthony McFarland? Give this kid a chance. You only have 2 losses. Otherwise, you're going to become one-dimensional, and you're going to be out in one game in the playoffs.
Mike, how do you fix Pittsburgh?
I never want to fix Pittsburgh, but the thing to that is, look, it's 11-2, and it's the NFL, it's COVID, 4 games in, what did you say, 19 days?
Yes.
So I mean, look, yes, they do need to run the ball better, but I'm sorry, Mike Tomlin's been there how long? Oh yeah, and last year they had nobody, and we talked about this in the beginning of the year, and they were 8-8, and literally, I mean, 2 of those games they could have won, could have been in the playoffs with no quarterbacks, basically. Look, they're 11-2. They didn't run the ball well. And Jake, I was going to say that the injuries yesterday as well are a bummer too. They need to run the ball better. But to Alex's point, go ahead, spread them all out, because the drops are an issue. But you spread them all out, you're not going to be able to cover them all. You get rid of it quick. That's how you cure not having a running game. Everybody talks about the short screen pass being an extension of the running game, little dump out to the receiver. But you spread them all out and you start doing that, guys will take up big chunks. Mike Tomlin's coaching. As much as I love to see the Steelers lose, don't get me wrong. Yes, do they need to run it better? Sure. But I'll tell you what, to Alex's point, and I was going to say, who's covering who? Because you could go with a dime all game long, and then even if they get whoever's at running back, who's ever running back, you hand it up, even you get 4, 5, 6, 7 yards, chunk yards, cool, you'll take it, because they're going to have to match up with you. You can bring pressure, but you're leaving all that speed on the outside alone. So you know what? Go completely college. Hell, go no huddle the whole game for all I care. But I'm just saying, if you spread it out, you can fix the running game that way, because guess what? They're going to have to match up personnel-wise. We all know it. It's a chess match. If you're going 5 wide all the time, even if you put Ebron and McDonald out there too, 2 huge guys, spread them out. That's how you fix it. And unfortunately for me, Mike Tomlin's still coaching. So yes, I do think Buffalo's the second best team, but Pittsburgh's going to be just fine, because it's funny how when the playoffs roll around, they seem to always make the play they need to and advance. So until that happens, then I'll say they need to be fixed.
Fine. Fair enough. I want to switch back to the NFC, because I want to show love to this conference, especially considering the fact that, my team's in that conference. And we won yesterday. Yes, I'm going to keep saying it. But so, Jake, first and foremost, I texted you yesterday, but you're welcome, sir.
Yes,
because by Philadelphia beating New Orleans,
NFC North champion.
Yes, and you are the number 1 team in that conference currently. Wow. So people are going to have to come to Lambeau if it remains as it is right now. But with that being said, I have to ask a question. And Mike, I'm going to come right back to you, sir. Green Bay or New Orleans, looking at both their schedules, who do you think is going to finish atop the conference with that number 1 seed? Mike?
The funny thing is, I think both of them win out. I do think they'll both win out. And so inevitably then, obviously Green Bay has a tiebreaker there. So the Packers will take it. But going up to Lambeau is always tough, and it's cold. And yes, we know the dome teams and all that, but with no fans, that's fine. But I'm always going to lean with the team, as you know, with a little more defense. Yes, the Eagles got them yesterday, and I'm sure this week of practice is going to be really, really fun for that Saints defense, losing to a team that they feel like they probably should have beat. That being said, I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Packers, because I just think they both went out. So inevitably, with the tiebreaker, the Packers are right there.
You do say winning out, realizing that the Saints have to play the Chiefs.
Yeah, but I think after last week's performance, that's going to be a hell of a game. I mean, that's the best game. That's what I was hoping you'd bring that up. That's going to be the best game this week. Okay. It'll be interesting. The Saints secondary, it'll be very interesting. But hey, if Mahomes can throw 3 picks unless the Dolphins defense has played better, it sure as hell isn't better overall than the Saints defense. I'll stand by that from eye test. So if he throws 3, I'm just saying it'll be a good game. It'll be a close game. That's why that was my upset special. I was going to say that at the end of the week, but I kind of gave it away anyway. So, but yeah, I think the Saints win that game. I think they both went out. But I'll still take if they go head to head in the playoffs. Yes, I know the Packers beat them earlier in the season. I'm going to go with the team that can actually stop a run, and that'd be the Saints if they meet up in the NFC Championship.
All right, Jake, your team, Green Bay Packers, or the New Orleans Saints? Who reigns supreme at the end of this regular season with the number one and the only bye?
The only way I could see the Saints actually being better than the Packers if Drew Brees comes back fully healthy. Aaron Rodgers is on a new plateau right now of quarterbacks. 39 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's on his way to another 4,000-yard passing season. The way he's able to unselfishly provide the ball to Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard, Robert Tonyan, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who just continues to improve week after week. And this offense just becomes scarier by the minute. Now, I'm not saying that because it's a Packers fan. The defense has been fine. It's been okay. I'm kind of shocked that they're actually 8th overall in defense. That's kind of shocking since we still can't stop the run. But they got 2 tests coming up next week. If Christian McCaffrey is playing, be ready for that. Then they got to go play against Derrick Henry. He's coming to Green Bay. That's the game where we're going to find out if this Packers team can stop the run and get ready for the playoffs. If they don't stop Derrick Henry, then the Packers are in trouble. The Saints, here's my problem with the Saints. Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill was down 17-0 to the Philadelphia Eagles, and he had to throw the team on his back and at least try to make a comeback, but it wasn't enough. And that's one thing. Taysom Hill is not Drew Brees, and it's not going to be like that. Kansas City's coming in next week. They're going to be pissed off. Even though they got away with the win against Miami, they wanted to beat that team into the ground. And Patrick Mahomes is coming off his worst game. He's going to have his best game because I keep saying this about the Saints. Even though they're ranked second in rush defense, even though they're decent in pass defense, their secondary still gives up big plays. And you saw it against Philadelphia. You're going to see it against Kansas City. Watch out. The Saints are not marching in quite yet. I'm sticking with the Packers.
Alex, NFC South, one team that you know very well in the New Orleans Saints, the Green Bay Packers, another team that you do, of course, cover because your hometown is Chicago. So you know both these teams fairly well, sir. At the end of the day, after week 17, who's going to be atop the NFC?
Unfortunately, I agree with both gentlemen. Mike brought up a good point. I don't give a damn how well they played against Miami. Patrick Mahomes was exposed by the secondary. And you know what the New Orleans Saints have that Miami doesn't? A damn pass rush. He's not going to be fluffy, all throwing biscuits and dropping back passing with time. The New Orleans Saints are for real. The defense of New Orleans is much better than the defense of Miami, front seven-wise. And you could do a coin flip when it comes to the secondary because Lattimore is not going to pull a Carlton Davis and get burned multiple times by Tyreek Hill. Number 2, quarterback play is going to be key, especially for the Saints. That's my upset special, too. I think the Saints beat the Chiefs for 2 reasons. 1, they're more physical. 2, who got Mike? Deep plays matter. Passing game matters. There's not a corner on that Kansas City squad that can handle Michael Thomas. You can look up and down it. You're not going to find it.
That's true.
Alvin Kamara is probably going to be the best running back that they're going to face. Eckler's not Kamara. Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay's not Kamara. And they haven't faced a Kamara-type running back all season. Oh, and when they played Carolina with Christian McCaffrey, look how much havoc he wrecked. Number 3, Taysom Hill is not the answer at quarterback. I said that 5 weeks ago. I'm saying it now. I stand by my word. But record counts. Green Bay is going to play against the Kitty Cats. That's a win. The true test is going to be 2 weeks from now against the Tennessee Titans and King Henry. He's going to be looking to get up to 2,000 yards. That Green Bay secondary is going to be tested to its limits, stopping A.J. Brown, the new Julio Jones, Corey Davis, and Derrick Henry. I saw them personally yesterday. I think I would know. Ryan Tannehill's in the upper echelon of the quarterbacks. And then number 3, the Chicago Bears, a Ferrari defense with the Pinto offense. Green Bay is not going to lose another game if they can beat Tennessee. They're going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Upset special, New Orleans beats Kansas City.
Whew.
Okay.
Hey,
Last question.
wait, Alex, real quick, too. You know what I find funny, and I fell for it too, saying that, oh, Aaron Rodgers needed another receiver. If by a lot of prognosticators saying that, oh well, you can say Davante Adams is the best receiver in the league. Well, why did the Packers need to draft another receiver? Because Davante Adams is having a 6th season too. Had one last year when he's healthy. So, I mean, why did you need to draft a receiver? Again, I hate to side with Jake and the Packers, Eric. Believe me, you know this is tough for me. But again, they shouldn't have taken a quarterback. We all agree on that. But they didn't need another receiver. You have Davante Adams. No rookie receiver was going to do. Unless it was what Justin Jefferson is doing, he probably should get Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Here's another reason why Green Bay is going to be the number 1 seed over the New Orleans Saints. Green Bay doesn't play down to their level of competition. If they would have crowded the line of scrimmage and stopped all that running game of the Philadelphia Eagles, Miles Sanders doesn't break free for an 82-yard rush, and Jalen Hurts doesn't get 106 yards on the ground. New Orleans played down to the level of competition. And Taysom Hill is not a viable quarterback. So that's 2 reasons why New Orleans lost that game. Green Bay wants that smoke. What did they do against Philadelphia and Carson Wentz? Okay. They pummeled them. What they do against the Saints, they matched them touchdown for touchdown.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
Jake, hold on. They struggle with the Lions.
That's my problem with the Packers.
They held on to beat the Lions.
Do play down to the opponent's level. They played with Jacksonville, Detroit. It's always a pain in the side when they play at Detroit. It's always tough. It doesn't matter if they have a coach and a general manager or if they don't have a coach and a general manager. And I knew this game was going to be just like that. And not to mention, the Minnesota Vikings came into Lambeau Field and put a whooping on the Green Bay Packers at that point. So I'm not buying that argument by any means necessary, because there are a few times where I sit there and go, why are we playing down to this competition? They got to play their best football now coming up in the next 3 weeks. Carolina, Tennessee, at Chicago. Finish the job. You lose to Tennessee, big problem. And then New Orleans will be the number 1 seed.
Okay. All right. We're going to keep that conversation moving away from it for a brief moment, because I want to finish up tonight here on the Sports Arena. And gentlemen, thank you as always. So, Michael, you did bring up the Dolphins. And I'm going to come right to you on this question, sir. My last question of the evening. We saw what Brian Flores and that Miami defense was able to do to kind of disrupt the Kansas City Chiefs offense for a moment. Kansas City still came away with the victory. If the Dolphins find a way to get into the playoffs and they now have to go to Arrowhead to face the Chiefs wild card weekend, who are you guys picking in that game? And Mike, I'm coming right back to you.
Oh, I mean, it's the Chiefs. Look, Andy Reid's still the Chiefs coach, right?
Yes.
Good luck on a rematch when Andy Reid has time to prepare for you, because at this rate, it wouldn't. Well, I guess technically, yes, it could be wild card weekend, but the Chiefs will be the number 1 seed, so the Dolphins would have to win a game. But for your hypothetical, if it was that weekend,
so fine. All right. Let's take divisional weekend. Let's say Miami somehow gets in and they upset the number 2 team. Let's say they upset Pittsburgh, because we don't think Pittsburgh's going to be able to get it done or should be able to get it done. So let's say then divisional round.
Right. Okay.
Miami has to go to Arrowhead.
Absolutely. I love what Brian Flores has done. I mean, how can you not? I know, yes, Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't the answer. We all know that, but you kind of took him out when the team, they were right. They weren't looking bad. So, I mean, it was a call. And then Tua got a little banged up. Fitzpatrick came back in, did his thing. And he's, whatever. The guy's made millions. He went to Harvard. He's been an NFL journeyman. Good for him. But to that game, look, Andy Reid's still the coach of the Chiefs. You don't think that they're going to sit there and watch extra? You're probably not going to get a 30-yard sack the next time. It's a playoffs. Mahomes isn't going to get cute and go back that way. I figured you were – I was going to text you, Alex. I figured you were laughing. When I saw that highlight, I'm like, a 30-yard sack? And I see it was a joke. But that being said, a rematch, look, I love what the Dolphins did. What did this game do for them? It gave them confidence. But a false sense of confidence, because, you can have an interception if Mahomes, again, his strong arm. I talked about it 2 weeks ago with you guys. He's got one of the – if not the strongest arm, the second strongest arm to Josh Allen in the league. And in that game against Tampa, he chucked the ball, and Tyreek Hill still had to turn around and slow down for it. Mahomes doesn't have a weak arm. So you're not going to get that insane interception on Tyreek Hill like that all the time. Travis Kelce exposed the middle of the field. Again, I love what the Dolphins are doing, but they're a year, maybe 2 years away from being at that echelon, because I think Tua can do it as long as he's playing complimentary. They build confidence, but I'm sorry, it's a false sense of confidence. You're going into Arrowhead, fine. You're going to get killed.
All right, fair enough. We got about 3 minutes left, Jake, and then I'll give Alex the final word. In that matchup, should it happen, Chiefs-Dolphins, who you got, Jake?
I'm still going to go with the Chiefs because they are going to have home field advantage. They're at Arrowhead Stadium, and that's going to be a problem, especially if it's cold out. And Miami is not a cold weather team. They're just not. But I do love the way the Dolphins played yesterday. They didn't have a running game. Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, 2 starting linebackers, and Mike Gesicki left in the second half. So if the Dolphins can get healthy, have a legit running game, be able to come in, they can give a game to Kansas City, because keep this in mind, 34 sacks and 16 interceptions for this defense of no-namers. Brian Flores has done an incredible job. Chris Grier has done a good job as a general manager, bringing in players that work the system, not because that they are a household name, but because they work the system of Brian Flores. And that is one thing that's going to help. Tua was excellent yesterday, 28 for 48, 316 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. If Tua can continue to have that confidence in his arm and his feet, then Miami could give them a heck of a fight at Kansas City. But I'm still going to go with the Chiefs. It's still Patrick Mahomes, and it's still Andy Reid.
All right, Alex, I got about 90 seconds, brother. Go.
All right, first and foremost, I don't think Miami's going to make the playoffs because I think Baltimore's going to be the number 7 seed. By the way things are showing out, Cleveland's going to be 5 or 6, Indianapolis is going to be 5 or 6, either or, and then Baltimore sneaks in with the number 7. However, I'll play devil's advocate. Let's just imagine that Miami does get in with Kansas City. They need Myles Gaskin. The number one thing they were missing yesterday, time of possession and running game. They couldn't matriculate the ball down the field. What's the best way to beat Patrick Mahomes? Just like what the Patriots did. Keep them off the damn field. Capitalize on opportunities. That pick on Tua wasn't his fault. He was taking a deep shot. He had 2 defenders. The defender caught the ball. He was good. You need an offensive lineman so that way he doesn't have to worry about backside pressure. You need a consistent running game, and you need an enforcer at linebacker. Kyle Van Noy was too busy dropping off in coverage. Miami's good, and they gave the blueprint. They're not ready for Kansas City.
Fair enough. Gentlemen, we're going to end it right now because – as I said earlier in the show, when Alex and I had an argument, Cleveland is very much relevant and alive in this game. Now it's 28-34 versus the Baltimore Ravens. So we're going to cut it right here. Your man, Eric Wilson, alongside my brother, Alex Fleming, Florida Sun Review, NFL Carousel, Jacksonville Jaguars contributor, my man, Jake Rongholt, Turning Point Podcast, telling both sides of the story, and Michael Caratanudo, my favorite hater, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast. Your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Everyone have a great evening. Hey, Cleveland is still relevant. See ya.